Where my microphone? Thank you. Can you hear me now? Okay, the sound. Thank you. Hi. Hi. Can you hear me? Is the sound okay? Locks by Ayis. Good evening and welcome. No, is the sound okay? Okay, thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much. You see, that is why when I'm doing live stream, I want you people to just be carried along, as in you people should communicate. You see, I won't have known that the sound from this side is not okay. Thank you, Lux by Aya. Thank you, Ayis. Thank you. I won't have known. I would just be busy and be doing and be going. You get. Thank you, guys. The two of you. Thank you. God bless you. I appreciate. Okay. So my pattern paper now. So I'm making sure that everything. So I just placed some lines on it. We're going to do the back first. So I'm just going to explain everything that I was saying, why sound was off. So the first line we have here is our shoulder line. Then the next line from this shoulder to this line is 11 inches, which is our bust point. And from this shoulder line to this point is 14, which is our under bust. Okay. The difference between bust point and under bust is usually 3 inches and 4 inches, but most time it's usually 3 inches. So from the shoulder to our waist is 18, and then the full length I'm using 24. So that's the full length of the blouse. Okay, so let's do the back sharp sharp and then we'll come back for the front. So it is a simple process. Okay, to draft a blouse like this, we're doing a princess dart. Yes, so the first thing you are going to check your shoulder measurement. So for this, the thing, I'm going to divide that into two. I'm going to have 7 and then I'll add 1 inch to it. So you place your 1 inch that way, and then from that 1 inch point, you're going to come down by 1 inch. Okay, so the essence of this, for those of you that are not beginning, already understand, but we keep saying these things so that those people that are just coming to learning, they will understand. Okay, so you come down and then you just create a slope. So the essence of creating this slope is to make sure our shoulder, because our shoulder is not straight. You see the way the shoulder came, it's not straight. Okay, so from this point, you're going to measure your round armhole measurement. Here is your round armhole, this part like this. So you can do this in various ways. You can divide your bust circumference by 6 and then add 1.5. You can make it round, or you can just use the standard measurement of 9 inches. Okay, so for this, I'm just going to be making use of 8 inches, which is 16. So I'll put it that way, and then I am going to connect that with a straight ruler like this. Okay, so after connecting this with a straight ruler, the next thing I am going to do, I'm going to create a curve. So you can see it is a process. So I've created the curve. The next thing now, we're going to add our bust circumference. Okay, so for the bust circumference, I'm using, for the bust circumference for today, let's use a big bust. Like I said, we're using 40 our bust. So the bust is going to be 10. When you divide that into 4, you are going to have 10. So I'll add 1 inch to it for that, and then add 1 inch for sewing allowance. And then I'm going to come to my under bust measurement. So my under bust 32 inches. So when you divide 32 into 4, you are going to have 8 inches. You add 1 inch for your dart, and then you are going to add your stitching allowance. Okay, and then I'm going to come to my waist measurement. So the waist, I'm going to use 36 for the waist. So when you divide 36 into 4, we're going to have 9. Our 1 inch for our dart, and then our stitching allowance. Okay, so for the waist, most times I usually add the allowance that I use for my waist. Most times I always add maybe like an extra 1 inch, half of an inch to it, to make it bigger than what I used on the side. That is just me. So the next thing, we're going to come to our waist measure. So for the waist, I'll use 44. Divide that into 4. I'm going to add that, and then I'll add my dart, and then add the stitching allowance. Okay, so when I'm done with all of these dot lines that I marked, I am going to connect. So I'm going to try as to connect all of these lines together. Can you see? You see, it is a simple process. Can you see? You see our beautiful pattern is well laid out. So the next thing we want to do now, let's add our dart. Okay, so for the dart, we're going to use our bust span because we're doing a princess dart. So that bust span, I'm using 9 inches. So you divide 9 inches into, we're going to have 4.5. So that 4.5, just mark it across all of these lines like this. Okay, So when you mark it across all of the lines, for those of you that don't know how to do princess that, it is a simple process. We actually have different patterns of princess that, at least two that I know, that I can think now, right now though. So there are some that you share the dart into two parts. That will be for the front area. While some you just place the dart on one side. Okay, depends on the style line. That is what will determine. Like me, that's what I normally do. It depends on the style line. That is what will determine the pattern that I'm going to be making use of. So that is why most times I tell you people learn how to sew patterns. That's learn patterns, not style. Okay, yeah, so that's message for another day. So as you guys are just joining, you're welcome. Please, you guys should like this video, and if you what do I want to say, like this video, yes, I would appreciate that. Hit on the like button, and if you have not subscribed, subscribe. Let me know where you're watching me from. Okay, so remember our armhole where we used 8 inches, so I'm going to come to the center part of that 8 inches. I'll just place it a mark like this, and then once you have this pattern curves, it makes your life really easy. Okay, it makes it really easy for you. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to use this pattern curve because this is my back pattern. I don't want to curve it too much so that this part will not be looking like it will not be curvy. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to, from this part, I'm going to come out by 1.5. You can do 2 inches. So the essence of doing this is because princess, that if you cut it this way, can you see? So now it is going to land on my armhole. Can you see? Has landed well, and then this goes in like this. So the essence of adding this extra, if you do not add this extra, it's going to get truncated. Okay, so because in case for this part, so you can see, so I've cut it out, so this is easy for my back piece. So I'm just going to blend this in like this, and then I'm going to cut this out for my back pattern. Okay, so for instance, now I want to take out a little bit because I don't want it to swell. So from that waist part, I'm just going to come in by half of an inch. So when I come in by that half of an inch, this is what I am going to do for this. I'm going to create this in like this. Can you see what I am doing from this point like this? So I'm just going to create this. So with this, I'll take out a little bit of piece from the center to make it lay flat. So that's the essence. Okay, so like I said, let me know where you're watching me from. The next thing, now we want to create out our neckline for our back piece. So for the necklines, I'm going to be making use of 3.5 inches because I don't want it to be too wide. I'm going to mark it this way, and then when I mark it, the next thing, I am going to come down deep because this is a back pattern. This is my back pattern. I'm going to use like 6.5 inches for the back pattern. I'll mark it this way, and then I'm just going to create this. Okay, so I'm going to create this like this for my back pattern. So the next thing I am going to do now, I am going to cut this out. Okay, I'm going to cut this out. Another way for you to do this for normally is because if you check the picture that I uploaded on my thumbnail, it was a princess that was done. If I want to cut this pattern, I would not, personally, I will not use a princess that. I'll prefer to use the neck dart. Why will I want to use the neck dart? So that I'll be able to, in case of any sag that will be here, I'll be able, the dart that I'm going to take out, when I'm taking out from the neckline, I'll be able to fix that up. Okay, for my back piece. So for the design, for the style line of my front, and you know I have, okay, yeah. So the next thing now, I'm just going to take out this extra. So this I have to be very careful. If not, I'm going to have a curve. What do you call it? So for that, I'm just going to come in this way a little. Then on this point, like this, I'll come in, and then on this part, I will come out. So with that, I will be able to, I'll come in like this,